the 2x minus 1 goes in front. That's the divisor. It's what we're dividing by. And then underneath here goes the big polynomial.
Oh.
Now, what do I have to remember to do in this case?
Fill in for the x cubed.
Yeah, remember, there's no x cubed. So we have to put a placeholder. Put a 0x cubed. And then we do have an x squared, so 5x squared. And then we have a 2x, so plus 2x plus 4. Ooh. Okay, so what is the first thing we start with? And remember, I like to put this in parentheses because we to remember to distribute through that. So the first thing we ask ourselves is the first thing and the first thing. What do I need to multiply 2x by to get 4x to the fourth?
Yeah.
2x to the third. Then what happens from elementary school with that number up top? It gets distributed through the divisor in front. So 2x cubed times 2x is what? 4x to the fourth. Now remember, those should always be the same if you do this right, because they'll cancel. And don't forget to also multiply 2x cubed times negative 1. So we get negative 2x cubed. And then, what do?
We subtract.
We subtract down. So, subtract. What is 4 minus 4?
0.
Now, this is the part that people usually mess up. They just do 0 minus 2 and they get negative 2.
Oh.
But it's 0 minus negative 2, which is what? Positive 2x cubed. And then we bring down the next term, negative 5x squared. And we just do it all over again. That's all there is to it. You just do it however many times you need to do it until there's nothing left or there's a remainder. So what do I need to multiply the first thing by to get the first thing? I already have a 2.
3. X squared.
X squared. Positive x squared.
Yeah.
So 2x times x squared would give me 2x cubed, right?
Yeah.
Now we take that green x squared and we multiply it through 2x minus 1 in front. So x squared times 2x is 2x cubed. And x squared times negative 1 is negative x squared. And then we subtract down. 2 minus 2?
Yeah.
Negative 5 minus negative 1. This is negative 5 plus 1, which is negative 4x squareds. Ooh, this is a fun one. You do this before Christmas food. And we bring down the next one. And we do it again. What do I need to multiply 2x by to get negative 4x squared? Negative 2, and we need one more x. So minus 2x up top. And then negative 2x gets distributed through 2x minus 1. So negative 2x times 2x is negative 4x squared. Negative 2x times negative 1 is positive 2x. Negative 4 minus negative 4. 0. 2 minus 2. Did I mess them up?
Well,
Okay. 2 minus 2 is 0. And then we do have one more thing to bring down. We have a 4.
yes.
So 0 plus 4 Now, what happens when this can't multiply into that?
There's a remainder.
That's the remainder. So what is my remainder?
2.
0 plus 4 is 4.
4.
Now, do you remember what we do with the
Yeah, I
remainder?
think so. Don't you put that thing on top and divide it by 4?
Divide the remainder over
Oh,
the divisor. This in front is what we call the divisor, is 2x minus 1. So at the end of my answer, I'm going to put a plus sign. What was my remainder?
4.
4 over 2x minus 1. And this is the answer on your EOC that you would select on the computer. How many of us remember that pretty well from before break?
Yeah.
Cool. I am going to now pass back to you. You're fine.
Oh, you still fine.
Oh no.
You're silly.
Yes, it starts now.
Don't put this away. We'll finish up the rest of it here in a second. It's called synthetic division, but we're only going to use synthetic division when we're dividing by a linear, what does that mean?
Straight line.
Largest exponent is
1.
1. There's no squares, there's no cubes, there's no fourths or fifths. Binomial, what does binomial mean?
2.
2 terms, so like x plus 4, x minus 3. Where a, in other words, the coefficient is 1. I would write that down, or is it already written down? Okay, it's already there. A linear binomial where a is 1. So is this a linear binomial?
No.
No, you could not use synthetic division here. Is this a linear binomial? Yes, but what is a?
That's 2.
2. And 2, it has to be what?
1.
1. So I would not use synthetic division here. What about this one here?
Yeah.
Yes, that is a linear binomial where a is 1. Okay, that is the scenario in which you will use synthetic division. And the reason synthetic division is helpful is because it's super easy. And we're going to use it a lot this semester. You're going to use synthetic division all semester long. So pay close attention here. Okay? There are some differences. So what I want you to do, just on the back of your page, this is example 1. This is the 0 of, and I would write this down. The number that goes in that box is the 0 of the divisor. You might have already known this. What do I mean by the 0 of the divisor? So think of this as a factor. How would I solve it and find the 0? Set it equal to 0, and what would my answer be here? Positive 2. That's the number that goes in the box. So if we were dividing by x plus 4, what would go in the box?
4.
Nope. Negative 4. If I was dividing by x minus 8, what would go in the box? Positive 8. If I was dividing by x minus 3,000, what would go in the box?
3,000.
Positive 3,000. Okay? The numbers that go after the box are the coefficients. What is a coefficient? A number that is multiplied in front of a variable. It's the coefficients of what we're dividing. So I'm going to put a 5. And then I'm going to put, what's the next coefficient? Negative 13.
So you just lined it up?
What's the next coefficient? 10. What's the next coefficient? Or the constant is negative 8. Then leave a space, draw a line, and put a box under the last number, the constant negative 8. This is how we're going to set it up, and you'll see what's going to happen here in a second. Now, how long would it take us to do this problem with long division?
Quite a while.
I mean, maybe a minute or two, right?
Well, I mean,
Like the example we just did, when we did this one, which isn't much bigger, it maybe took us like 2 or 3 minutes, okay? So, long division takes a little bit longer. Synthetic division is super fast. You can do synthetic division in like 15 seconds once you're done with it. That's how awesome it is. So, let me show you the steps. The first thing you're going to do, you're always going to bring the first number down. Just bring it straight down. Then, there's really only 2 steps. Multiply, add down. Multiply, add down. Now, it's kind of weird because we're dividing, but we have to multiply by the process. So, what we're going to do, we're always going to take this number and multiply it by this number, and what do we get? That goes right here. Now, make a little note out to the side. The main difference between long division and synthetic division is you add down. You add down. So if I have negative 13 plus 10, I get negative 3.
Negative 3 what? Plus 10?
Negative 13 plus 10. You just add straight down. And now you just do it again. You multiply the 0 times the number we just put down here, and what do we get? That goes right here. Add down. Multiply, what's 2 times 4? Add down. What do you think that box represents? It's the remainder. We're done. We just did synthetic division.
Wait, is that
Now I'll tell you what this means in a second. It's really easy.
5, -3.
You work your way backwards from the remainder. This number is always the constant. This number is always the x. This number is always the x squared, and so on and so forth. It could be as big as it needs to be, right? So my answer here is 5x squared minus 3x plus 4.
So what would happen if there was a remainder?
I'll show you. Same thing as long division, you just put it over x minus 2. What does a negative exponent do to something? So if I, last semester, if I gave you 2x to the negative second, what would you turn that
Put
into?
it on the bottom.
2 over x squared. So what is a negative exponent really telling me to do?
Moving on with that.
Divide. That's basically a fancy way of saying divide. Okay? So really, that's the same thing. We're dividing that top polynomial by n plus 2. That's all this is saying here. Okay, so the way we set up the synthetic division, put a box here. And what's going to go in the box? The 0 of the divisor, which is negative 2.
Why does it have to be a box?
Doesn't have to make it a star. Okay, now what is the first coefficient of the polynomial on top? 1. And then
Write it down.
negative 3. And then
5.
-6.
Wait, what?
We're just naming the coefficients.
Oh, 0.
Oh, snap.
what are we missing?
That's a square.
It's a square.
We're missing an m squared. Just like long division, you have to put a placeholder. So 0 m squared, and then 5m's minus 6. Now leave a space, put a line, and then put another box down here. The box always goes under the last number, so that's the remainder. Now see if you can do this one on your own. Our answer, remainder, constant, x squared. This one goes all the way back to an x cubed.